Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds, and we have a mother and daughter split inspection for today. There's a lot that's been going on to these two great colonies. We're going to inspect them. It's September. We need to see how much weight they have. There's bees in the air. There's probably another week or two of halfway decent flow left, and we've got to make sure that all of our colonies have enough to go through the winter, and many of them have already got enough, but some of them don't, especially the younger colonies. A lot of neat stuff to see in these two hives. All right, so let's go to the daughter first, and then we'll see how the mother's doing being older. Now, the mother still has a queen excluder. We'll be removing that today because if you didn't know, you can't leave your queen excluders on during winter, because if your queen's down here, which she is right now, all the honey pretty much is up here, which is great. That's what we want. We want all that honey up here. As in the winter they rise with the heat, all that honey is going to be waiting up for them. But if that queen excluder is still there and she can't get through and the rest of them go, she's going to freeze down there, and the rest of them will be just fine. Coming out of winter, they'll be like, oh, let's lay some, get some new brood going, and they've got nothing to work with. Not what you want to have happen. All right, so we're going to just pop this one. And if you want to see how we made this split right here, it's a fantastic hive. Watch this video up here. We show you how we catch the queen, and then how we make the split off of the bees from this hive right here. And we've actually pulled some bees from this colony as well, because it just got so big, and we were making all those splits that you see in that run down there. We needed a couple frames of brood, and so they had grown so quickly we ended up pulling a good frame from this split that we made. All right, we're just going to go ahead and pull this box right off the top. There's a good chance the queen's up in there. The weight is okay, not a ton of weight. And I put that box on a little while ago, probably about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So we're not going to be checking every frame. I rarely do inspections like that unless I am looking for a queen that I need to find, or there are swarm cells and we need to take action to prevent swarming. Look at this gorgeous pattern right here for this time of the year. We've just got brood. We've got more brood. You can see some nectar in between the frames of capped brood. That's looking pretty good for this time of the year. The queens are slowing down just a little bit, but young queens with good nutrition, which we've got that coming in right now, are still doing really well and giving us some pretty decent amount of brood. There's just a little bit down into here. I'm anxious to see what we have above. You know, just more brood. You know, both of those frames have some, so looking good. We've already treated these colonies for mites. Alcohol washes are good. Is that an airplane I'm hearing? I think that's an airplane. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw the next box on and see what we have up top. I'm anxious to see if she's moved up in here. Also, you know, the weight right now, we could easily throw another 30 pounds of syrup into this box. They are bringing in some nectar, but we're going to have to feed this one a little bit. We'll probably go ahead and start doing that today. I would rather get to feeding early. I'm really not in the business of making fall honey. A lot of our hives overwinter off of fall honey without very little to any feed, depending on the fall. Some years we have to feed a lot, some years we don't hardly feed at all. Every year's a little bit different. All right. Wow, I'm seeing some new wax up in here. You can kind of see all that capping right there. That's great. Especially since we pulled a really nice cap frame of brood from this colony back in August when we made all those splits down there. They have bounced back pretty nicely. And let's see, it's just foodstuffs. Here's a frame of brood. Alright. Yeah, it's just mostly foodstuffs up here. It's really good. It's keeping that queen down below. Mostly food here. Alright, we just need to fill it up here a little bit more. You can see the emerging brood up here. A bunch of them down here. Emerging. Wow. Quite a uniform graduation of bees right there. That's a sign of a good queen, in my opinion, as well, is you have a lot of uniform brood doing things. You have a lot of it at the same time. So she's really getting busy. This hive's looking good. You can definitely tell throughout our bee yards that the queens just don't have the same desire to lay as heavily. Pretty normal for, you know, once fall hits, it just, bees change their behavior. And it's good. I'm not really feeding any pollen patties. I have no desire to beef up these colonies and try to force them to grow bigger. This just isn't the time of year to do that. Wow, quite a few bees on the lid. Alright, let's see here. Make sure the queen's not up here. Try to get most of them back in here. I'm going to leave that for a second, let some of them walk in the entrance. Alright, so that's the daughter hive right there. I imagine once they brood down, we're probably looking at a cluster of somewhere around 9 frames of bees. Maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 8 frames. That's good. That'll be great. We're going to get this full of foodstuffs up here. Let's look at one of these frames and see what they've got. I want to go ahead and look at it anyways. Yeah. So pretty much almost all this is fall honey. Might be a little bit of syrup in there, but most of this is fall honey. So that's great. I love having the real stuff. There's a little bit of brood on that frame over there. That's good. Alright. Let's get into the mother hive. This time of the year, again, we're really not trying to beef them up. We just want them to have plenty of nutrition. And we are having 3 or 4 different shades of pollens coming in right now, and just pollen basket after pollen basket. That's exactly what we really desire this time of the year, is good queens, dead mites, and great nutrition. And this time especially, because winter bees need so much fats to be able to survive that long in winter. Alright, so this one has an excluder, remember, so we're going to have to take that off because winter is fast approaching. Wow, a lot more weight in this one. Yeah, this one might not need a whole lot of added syrup to it. Might not need any at all by the time the fall flow is done. Alright. It is nice having the queen down in here. Alright, so you can see where we have some residue left over from pollen patties right there from summer. Let's see. We're just going to pull out a couple frames here in the middle. Oh wow. You know, this isn't the perfect brood pattern, but looks pretty good to me. Capped brood. Lots of nectar down in here. Up above the brood. Let's go over to another frame and see what's going on. Okay. Wow. Look at that. I mean, there is some drone brood down in here. Some people are talking about how there's no drones in Tennessee. That is not the case in our bee yards, but these are strong hives. And I mean, there's capped brood up in here. Let's look at the adjacent frame. Wow, just nothing but capped brood on this side as well. Pinched a bee. Whoops. And let's see what we have over here. Just more capped brood. Larvae, a little bit of capped brood. Looking good. I'm going to check one more frame. The thing of it is, down in this brood nest, there's not a ton of honey. There's a little bit probably on the edges. And again, I like having the excluder because if I want to make a split or requeen, I know where she's at. All the honey pretty much gets stored above, which is a natural progression for them going into winter. Just moving up to that honey. Look at all the larvae down in there. Get them out of the way. Do you see that, Laurel? Kinda. But you can just see there's emerging brood here. There's more larvae, fuzzy bees. Oops, smokes. coming towards Laurel. They say it follows beauty, so they must be right. What are we having for dinner tonight, Laurel? It's gonna be good now, real good. I gotta be careful. I'll have to make myself a hot dog or a bologna sandwich. All right, so there's just tons of nice uniform capped brood over here as well. This is great. Both of these hives are going to be really nice this coming year. It's exactly what we want. It's awesome. Anyways, if you've enjoyed our videos, think about subscribing. We're going to go ahead and shut this one up. Just checking them for the winter. And hope you all have a good overwintering season. We'll see you in the next video.